Buenos dias! Today I want to share with you the highlights of my first week on my Colombian quest, which the highlight was buying a motorcycle. So my plan coming to Colombia is to travel all the coffee region autonomously, so by motorcycle for the next couple weeks, couple months. And I actually didn't know if I would be able to buy a motorcycle and be licensed to do it because I only have the probationary license in Quebec, Canada. So it was a big guess to come and try to do it. And I'm very glad because I succeed at it. And I'll share with you some information and will be some kind of a vlog to document my experience because it's going to be the trip of a lifetime again. And I'm glad to share it because I think it can maybe inspire or help others to make some kind of move towards bigger dream, better life. For me, it's as much getting closer to who I am to come to Colombia because I love nature, I love warm climate, I love social dancing, the Latina culture, and a lot of other things. And also, I hate winter. I can't stand winter. I don't really like the slope on which I feel the Canada society is. And instead of becoming a frustrated person, criticizing, cynical about his hometown, I rather explore different territories where I can be happier. So glad to be here. Was such a good first week, and I took some notes. So to be sure to share everything I wanted to share with you today. So don't mind if maybe I read down what I wrote. And let's start with the main information, which maybe brings you to this video because of the title, which says how to buy and ride a motorcycle in Colombia. So it's as simple as you can hope, okay? I had a lot of fear coming here because all my plan was resting on this crucial element to be able to buy a motorcycle. So what if the authorities don't allow me to buy one or to ride one? I had the preconception that since I couldn't get an international license at home because I didn't have the full license, let's say like this, I was scared that I wouldn't be able to ride a motorcycle. So at first I was telling myself, oh, I'm gonna spend 1 month in Medellin, learn to dance, and then buy a motorcycle and then go travel. But the first day I arrived, I just had to get it done. So what I did is I talked to people. Actually, first thing I did was to go to a motorcycle shop to get information. Do they sell used motorcycle? Because I was looking for a Honda XR or something similar, 190cc. And I wanted to buy it used because I want to save some money since I will have to sell it again after 4 or 5 months. And so I don't want to buy new. And so I went to a shop first to know if they had used motorcycles and what I would have to do to get one. And they told me, first thing first, you can go to the Secretario del Tránsito, is the equivalent of a DMV or SAC, Société d'Assurance, no, Société Automobile du Québec, which is the Quebec Office of Transport. So first you go there and you subscribe to the RUN. I still have a hard time to know how they pronounce it exactly, but it's called RUNT. And the RUN is basically the registration. So I went there, I waited 2 hours, but it's just that I was clueless of the fact that the ticket that they gave me was on another screen, which I didn't see. So I was waiting an hour, but I could have go to the cashier as soon as I entered the office. So you can expect that it goes very fast, because basically you simply need, I bring my license, and on my license it's writing all the motorcycles I can drive, but it's also writing apprentice permit. So I put the focus on all motorcycles, and actually they looked at my license for 2.5 seconds. It was very quick. They didn't care, and they mostly checked my passport, and they needed my passport to subscribe me to the registration system. So it cost $10, 10 Canadian dollars. I got registered in the system, and then they told me, all right, now you can buy a motorcycle. So I went to shop for one, and there is a place, I think it's on Carrera 33, so 33rd Avenue in Medellin, where there is like 100 shops of mechanics and motorcycles. It looks a little bit like, you know, the first Star Wars, where Anakin is very young and they get on this planet where they do mechanical stuff for the how you call that, rockets, like the vessels that they race with. And because it was so chaotic, you know, so many noise, so many people, motorcycles, a lot of music, as chaotic as you could expect. And I think it was fun to go there. So I went to a big used motorcycle shop that they're gonna call compra-venta. So compra-venta means buy and sell. So it's basically a shop for used motorcycles. I went there and I looked for the Honda that I was looking for. They only had one, and it pleased me. It was a 2023 year and 50,000 kilometers. The front tire and the brakes were off, the battery too. It was old. So I didn't manage to reduce the price, but I didn't manage to include a new tire, a new battery, and new brakes, which I think it's a fair deal. I paid, it was 10,700,000 Colombian pesos. But when I ended the negotiation, I was happy. I went to do the paperwork with them, and then I had to pay like 5% more because I was paying with my credit card. I could have saved if I buy it with cash, but then it would have cost me to go withdraw cash, so I pay for 5% more. And at the end of the day, it cost me $4,200 to buy it. But what I think is very interesting is that I could have looked like on Marketplace and find someone selling it. But the thing is that it's harder to make sure that your paperwork will be okay. And those shops, they're gonna be connected with the rent system, with the national registration. So I thought I would have to wait a day before riding it. But what they told me is that no, everything is fine. You can go now, because the three things that you're gonna need is the registration. So I have the registration card. Also, you're gonna have to have a paper that is a mechanical inspection, which is good for like a year or 2 years. And then you're gonna have to be subscribed to the national insurances, which is called SOAT, SOAT. And this was also included in the price. It's like it follows the motorcycles. So it's different from Canada, because in Canada, the insurance is to my name, and here, from what I understood, it's to it's in the name of the motorcycles. So I was glad to know that I could leave with the motorcycles. I had to go back to my Airbnb to get my helmet and my jacket, because I still want to be as safe as possible. And fun fact about that, in Quebec, where I did my license, I'm not allowed to drive between midnight and 6 a.m. I have to be a motorcycle driver for a year before getting my full license. I'm also not allowed to have someone riding with me on my back. And it's funny because I did my license in July, and now we are at the end of December, and the guy, I wanted to try the motorcycle, you know, and he's like, okay, I'm gonna come with you. I was so uncomfortable because it was old to my mind. It's been a while since I drive it, so I almost like I wasn't that comfortable. I had to go back into my head to remember how to start it, and I couldn't start with the battery, so I didn't know how to crank it because we didn't practice at my school. And then with his weight, I wasn't comfortable, so I stalled the motorcycle once or twice, and then he drove the motorcycle, so I wasn't able to really drive it before leaving with it. But then when I was alone, it was fine. But it was peak hour of traffic, and I told myself, okay, I'm gonna be like a wise kid, you know. We say in French, sage, like what's the word for it? Like, you know, I'm gonna follow the rules. I'm gonna be a good kid, follow the rules, stay behind the cars because of all the motorcycles, they drive between the cars. And I succeeded in doing that for 5 minutes. After 5 minutes, I had to follow the motorcycles. One, because it felt very odd to be behind the cars, between the cars, like between the back and the front of the cars. It felt odd because I was really the only motorcycles doing that, and that discomfort felt like more dangerous than to follow the flow of the motorcycles. I felt like scaring people around me because they didn't know what to expect, and they probably didn't know how to behave, me being there. So after 5 minutes, I decided, fuck it, let's just go between the cars like the other motorcycles. And this was kind of fun. It felt like you're a VIP. It feels like it goes much faster. I will never buy a car in Medellin. The traffic is disgusting, but on the motorcycles, it's not too bad because you just go between the cars. So it was very fun, and it's not for the you gotta have in French we say you can't have cold eyes. Tu peux pas avoir froid aux yeux. What would be the translation of that? Anyway, you gotta be, you can't be too neurotic. You have to have good stress management, because for a first experience, it's my first motorcycles. It's the first time I'm not in a class. It was kind of a high stress experience to drive in the traffic like this for a first experience. But if a motorcycle class for you wasn't too hard, too difficult or stressful, then you can manage to do it, and you can choose the hours also to drive. And I will recommend to have something to have your phone GPS, because the streets, it's very confusing. If you don't know the streets, if you're not from there, you need a GPS, because it's many one ways and it's just crazy. So that's about it for how to buy a motorcycle. It's as simple as it could get. You come here, you get into the register, and then you go buy motorcycles. It's very fun. You have to do it, and then to ride is amazing. So I think that was the main part of the video. But if you want, stay with me, because I'm gonna tell you the rest of my week that ends up in this amazing place that is gonna be in another video about my Colombian quest, which is to find a place which I will want to call home, where I will create a permaculture farm, where I will be able to live an utopia, have a wife, children, give survival courses, language courses, permaculture courses, a place to learn, to grow, also to grow as much food as possible, create a community, integrate myself to the community. So I have no clue where this is going to be. This is why I want to explore. There is a lot of different climate, a lot of different terrain. So I'm glad to have a motorcycle and be able to explore. So let's just make a pause and make sure that this is filming, because I will be super pissed if it's not filming. All right, it's still filming. So Monday, I arrived Sunday night on the 14th of December. Monday, I went to register to the run. Then on Tuesday, I bought the motorcycle. And then I left it there because I wanted to buy a maletero. No, I left with it, but I had to go buy it back twice because I bought a maletero, like a case, a suitcase that goes behind the motorcycle to put my bag in. But they didn't have the key, so they have to change the lock. Anyway, I went the day after. And I also went to Parque Arvi. Parque Arvi is on the eastern part of Medellin. It's a national reserve. And I got attacked there 5 years ago. I went there by myself to walk in some trails. And long story short, there's a guy, I had a really bad feeling, but I didn't listen to my feeling. And I sat down to read my book. And 5 minutes later, he came back with a metal bar, wanted to rub me. We got into a fight. And I started to scream for the police. And he started running. And I left. And it was not a good, well, no, that's a lie. It was like a good, bad experience. I learned a lot, because I remember specifically having the feeling that something was off, but also remember not listening to the feeling. So now I'm better to recognize the feeling and to listen to it. And it was also nice to see that I can defend myself, although it wasn't necessarily the wisest decision, because my phone was worth like $100, was the crappiest phone. And he hurt me a little bit, opened my head with the metal bar. So I had to have like a 300 puncture on my head. But at the end of the day, I didn't do it. So I thought it was a good idea to go back to Parque Arvi just to face my fear, face the little bit of fear I still had left. And I was glad to go there. At the end of the day, I took a guide because I think it was safer, smarter. I wanted to learn. Not sure if it was so much worth it, because it was very basic. But it was fun. It was a nice activity. And the guide she was super sympathetic. And she was saying amor every sentences, which was very attaching. Don't know if attaching is the good word, but anyway, you feel me. Also, I took the decision in the middle of the week that I wouldn't stay much longer in Medellin. I had an Airbnb only for a week, kind of for settling down and deciding what I want to do next. And my energy level was very low. I had like stomach pain, probably related to me drinking a lot of local water, which I usually do, but maybe it was too much for this week. So I went to buy some probiotics, which worked great, and now I'm okay. I haven't been sick, but I wasn't feeling good. My ears are also blocked. I think it's because I am higher than at home, where on the average like 1,700 meters here. At home, I'm 200 meters high, so my ears were blocked, so I was like deaf, and I also had pain in my throat, so I wasn't feeling so much as to go party and stuff. And the city felt crowded, and I felt I wanted to go into nature. That's how I decided, okay, I'm gonna find a volunteer experience to go to. So I went on workaway.com. I redo my profile and I wrote to like 20 people around Medellin. There's only one or twice that answered me. So I'm here now in San Rafael. I arrived yesterday to finish my first week. And this place is completely insane, insanely beautiful. I didn't have any expectation, but this is over any expectation I could have had, especially with the river, the waterfalls. I can hear it in the background. It's very resting, and it's nice because, you know, when you're outside, when you're abroad and it's like the Christmas time, you don't want to feel alone. And even in a big city, you can be with a big group partying, but it feels like superficial and alone. So I thought to myself, I'm going to go where people like me go. People that love nature, that want to live something more fulfilling and more calm. And of course, there's just like amazing people here. So yeah, I did some co-working in Santa Fe Mall. I did some language exchange to the Dance Free School, which I strongly recommend in El Poblado, Medellin. I had a date with Viviana, which was very fun, and it kickstart my Spanish because after my date on Friday night or Saturday night, I went to bed and I was thinking in Spanish, and I realized when I woke up, I was still thinking in Spanish. So I like that. My Spanish is coming back. And then it takes like 3 hours to get to San Rafael, where I am right now, which is east from Medellin. And I took the whole day yesterday to ride my motorcycle, took some pictures of some farm to sell to maybe get information. I did some drone shot of the Guatapé Lake, which I thought would be overrated, and the El Peñol, the big rock, but it's completely amazing. It's so beautiful there, the lake, because it's not a lake natural, it's a reservoir. So it's actually mountains that they fill up with water, and the artificial aspect of it make it so attracting to look at because it's so unnatural. I kind of love it. You know, it's like it's the same fun as when you're a kid and you build a barrage around a source of water, and then it fills up and then it destroys. And it's like this playful artificial management of nature power. I think was very nice. So I'll be glad to go back and go around the lake when I leave here, and I'll share with you those amazing pictures, videos that I took. And yeah, I arrived in San Rafael around 5. I decided to have a beer at the square because there was a lot of people, and I saw another traveler on a motorcycle. He had brown eyes but looked very white like me, so I decided to talk to him in Spanish or English. I asked him Spanish, English, and he said Spanish is fine. But then we started to talk in French because he was from France. So we spent like 2 or 3 hours together, had dinner together, and I went to this place. And I arrived at night. I didn't have any signal, so I didn't know what to expect. So I enter and I follow a trail with lights, and then I had to cross a bridge with a big waterfalls and go upstairs. And I was like, oh my God, this is so beautiful. This is exactly what I needed. And I spent some time meditating by the water and really felt like we always end up getting what we deserve, because I felt deserving, but in a grateful way, deserving this experience, you know, to rest and to enjoy nature. And it really feels right. and I'm glad. I think it's a proper move to share it with you, although I don't have anything to expect. Hello? Nothing to expect from it. Made, grow, made, help one person. So if you have any questions, if you like the video, leave me a comment. Let's get in touch. And I'll be glad to share the rest of it. Peace.